do you remember about lead-based paint?
Yes.
Yeah, in the past, they're doing lead-based paints for a very, very long time. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, that's bad for you. So how many chemicals are inside buildings that we don't know about?
Hmm.
So, these problems aren't just harming the planet. They affect our everyday quality of life. And that's what green buildings do. It just tells you more about transparency
Hmm.
and giving us consumers more information.
Hi, you're listening to Beyond the Reefs, a show produced by Radio Taiwan International. Here we talk about socioeconomic issues that are faced by Taiwan and their broader impact around the world beyond the reefs of this island nation. Today we're talking about green buildings, not the kind draped in vines or with a single rooftop tree meant to look eco-friendly, but the ones that are designed from the inside out to actually be green, smarter, healthier, and more energy efficient. We spend over 90% of our lives indoors, yet many of us still live and work in spaces built decades ago, often with materials and systems that weren't designed with our health or the planet's in mind. What if we could change that? Our guest today is Shawn Jang, a founder of RCI Sustainability Group based here in Taiwan. RCI is leading the way in transforming building across Asia, making them greener, safer, and more future-ready. From global certifications like LEED and UL to hands-on upgrades that improve air quality and cut energy waste, their work is helping redefine what buildings can and should be. RCI's recent collaboration with JSL Group marks a major milestone, the first housing project in Taiwan to earn dual UL certification for construction transparency and indoor environmental health. It's a sign that change is not only possible, it's already happening. Our first question for Shawn is, what exactly is a green building? Is it like I described, a building with vines hanging down the sides of the walls, or one with a rooftop tree, or is it more than that?
Absolutely. I think what the greenery, the actual greenery, that's basically 20% of the solution. That's like 20% of a green building.
Okay.
So the other part is the water efficiency. The other part is the energy efficiency. The other part is the materials, the waste. And the other 20% is the indoor environmental quality.
I see. So your company RCI, by the way, what does RCI stand for?
It stands for residential, commercial, and industrial. So that's kind of like our mission is that there's no building that cannot be a green building. There's no space that can't be a green building. Everything can be done more sustainable. So when we first started, we had this really broad vision where, we could impact all the industries. I don't know how often you're inside office buildings, but office buildings, even from the exterior, you can see that there's a lot of like curtains and shades. And they use that to obviously keep out the heat and the sun, keep the glare out, keep the heat out. But there is a lot of times where the office space, the curtains are always down. The curtains are always down, and the lights and the AC is always on. So a lot of times when we go in, our service is basically just to help, our advisory service is to help clients, help owners understand, and help them use smarter, more efficient systems. And, one person working overtime and the entire floor is on, the light is
Yeah.
on, the AC is on. So it's like these little things that we could just modify, and it goes a long way.
And I suppose, for example, you were talking about the blinds. If you have the curtains up, as in you let the sunlight in, but at the same time you turn your AC on to full blast, then the sun coming in is warming up the room that you're in. And so your AC has to work overdrive to keep the room cool. And these are some of the small things that you can tweak to save more energy. Is that sort of close to what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to invite you next time to Taiwan to visit our office. We didn't install curtain blinds. What we did was we added this film, which lets in all this natural light and blocks out all the heat. So it's basically just a balance of how do you humans, we need natural light. I really am not a fan of artificial light, and I
Yeah.
always want to have as much like natural light as possible. So it's always like this balance. Green buildings is about a balance. It's not a one's right, one's wrong. It's just, hey, let's reduce waste and let's optimize human happiness and productivity.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly right, Joe. You basically want to keep all the heat out, and also it's like the type of air conditioning you can use as well.
Yeah.
There's air conditioning systems are always being more and more efficient,
Mhm.
more and more smart. So those are also things that come hand in hand.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about Taiwan's 2050 net zero policies, a lot of countries around the world are adopting this, but we tend to look at it from an industrial angle, but not so much from the residential, everyday living. And I think that's what RCI is doing. Do you find this to be a booming business? Because, in Taiwan, green energy industry is starting to really pick up. I mean, it is picking up around the world, but certainly here in Taiwan, this industry, people want to use green energy, will want to use less coal burning. But is the green building industry also picking up?
In the past, I would have to explain a lot more 10 years ago. If I spoke to 10 people or 10 companies about sustainability, maybe one person would know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I promote a green building system called LEED. It's
Mhm.
an international green building system started by the United States Green Building Council. But when I was like, oh yeah, I'm telling you about LEED, people assume I'm like selling light bulbs, like LED light. I'm like, no, 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 it's not that. So it's picked up a lot. It's great. There's a lot of universities. They're starting to teach courses in it. There's a lot of new companies selling various services on green buildings. So maybe now, maybe half people, 50% of people I talk to know what I'm talking about and are interested in this subject.
Okay, so that's an improvement. But so what does it mean when it passes the lead checks and tests? How do you know if it's really green or healthy? What's the thing that you actually do for these companies or these builders?
The things that we talked about, those five pillars that we talked about. So LEED just focus on greenery, focuses on energy, water, materials, indoor health. So just basically a certified building, it just proves that it's a high performance building. We submit a lot of documentations to prove that it meets these requirements. And in some cases, we have to go on site to do testing. So I think being certified, it just gives you that extra level of trust.
Okay, yes, it's basically like, a lot of certification for food that started to, I would say, really popularized around a decade ago. People started to pay attention to the quality of the food that they're eating. But so this is like a side question just for you personally and for us, I guess, because, we're both getting to a certain age where you care about food. You care about the kind of things you put in your mouth. When we were younger, Shawn, it was, night market food, everything fried, everything grilled, with charcoal still on it. We don't care as long as it tastes good. But when you get to a certain age, and usually that age is about 40, right? You start to really care about what you eat, whether it's carcinogenic, whether or not it heightens your blood sugar level. So age is usually the factor that decides whether or not an individual cares about these certifications. But for someone to care about whether or not their building is green, what do you think is the thing that drives them usually? Like for clients who are interested in working with you, what do you think is that X factor that makes them want to do it?
That's an interesting question. So RCI, we deal mostly with C and I, mostly with
Commercial and industrial.
yeah, and it's because us in Taiwan, we're being required. A lot of our industry is still trading, manufacturing and trading, and we're being required by European, American buyers, Western buyers that they have to go green.
Yeah.
So there's this sustainable supply chain issue that's pretty popular now. There's a lot of carbon tax issues in Europe. So there's a lot of client demand driven. I think also another reason is publicly traded companies. in Taiwan are mandated to do ESG reporting, which also forces them to really think about sustainability. I think it's about competition. A lot of, just for example, just Nike sources a lot of shoes, and there's a lot of companies that make shoes in Taiwan. And, you being green is your differentiator.
Hmm. Hmm.
So competitions is something that's been really valuable. Working with hotels, low, they're 24 hours to try to lower their operational costs.
Hmm.
There's a lot of benefits to being sustainable and being green.
I'm guessing by that, the consumers at large haven't exactly picked it up yet. Do you notice just everyday Joe start to talk about this more? Or is this an initiative that is mainly driven by business first before the average people start to care about it?
Yeah, I think, Joe, this is a good question. I think when just a regular person, you're looking to buy or rent a home, I think this issue affects everybody, right? So
Yeah.
you don't have to be an expert in the field. You just have to know to ask the right questions. Like, for example, when you're buying or selling or you're renting your property in Europe, you have to
Hmm.
start disclosing some of this stuff. So in Taiwan, you just gotta ask some basic questions. Is there good air circulation? Is there energy efficient units? The products that the landlord may or may not be leasing to you. Does the owner know about the types of materials that they're using?
Right.
Like these issues are just makes for a better home for you to live in, more comfortable, better air quality, lower utility bills, etc. So these things in the long run affect your health and your wallet more than you think. I especially think since you're a dad now, I think you said 40 is really a good age. I really think we start to pay attention to these issues when you get here. I don't know if it's a maturity issue or it's because you become a parent, but you gotta understand, these things definitely affect you and the people around you.
Yeah, it might be a parent thing, right? Because you start to learn about the health issues that your kids might have, and then along the way, you've done enough research to think, hey, what have I been doing to myself? Also, given that houses, shelter is so expensive in Taiwan and around the world, when you buy something, you want to make sure that it has the best quality. So, talking about having green buildings and that sort of code of ethics or even just general rule of living embedded into the minds of the average population. You guys have recently worked on a project with JSL Group, which is one of the biggest developers in Taiwan. They basically build throughout the island, mostly residential buildings. So what is this collaboration about? And you guys have been doing this, I think it's called dual UL certification. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, you became your ear to the ground, man. I love it.
It's in the news. It's a big deal.
So JSL is a publicly traded company. They're one of the leaders in the residential market, and our core business is obviously commercial and industrial. I'm really happy that finally we're able to partner up with JSL in the residential sector. We've been ready to talk and educate the residential market, and JSL has really embraced this like green building concept where it's good for the environment, it's good for their clients. So what I love about this partnership is that we've integrated these goals at their design stage, and what it's happening is it's going to lead to a better building. What JSL is doing is it's called the UL Healthy Building Residential and the Construction Transparency Certification.
Hmm.
And what that means is that it's meeting this global standard for indoor air quality, material safety, and it gives buyers and the renters confidence, insurance that you're in a healthier, more responsible, this high quality of living, and I was talking to the chairman. I was just, thanking him so much. And what he was just saying is, look, I build affordable homes, but I want to share with my buyers that the homes that I build are also very safe to live in,
Hmm.
and that's, he's like, it's harder to sell homes now. And he just wants to be able to show this like long-term value of real estate. And it just makes me really happy.
I'm curious, what was the first few conversation you had with the chairman? Like, did it take a lot of convincing, or he already knew this is where he wants to take the company?
3 years, my brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of conversations. But that's what it takes, because we want to understand each other.
Hmm.
We want to let them know what RCI is about, and help them and let them understand that it's not. He wants to be able to control costs as well, and we want to let them understand it's more about transparency, and letting them know that you've already been doing good work. We just want to have a third party verify that what you're saying you're doing, you're actually doing.
Hmm.
And we slowly got them to agree and slowly got them to enroll in this program. So our first project together was out in Hsinchu,
Hmm.
this Hsinchu Paradise. I think that's what they call it. It's JSL Paradise.
Hmm.
And that's how we started to get to know each other. And from one project, and now they've basically committed 40 projects in the next 3 years. So really
Wow.
excited about this future together.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys have been hounding them basically for 3 years. And
Educating.
well, yeah, that's one way to put it, because you guys are like the checks and balances, right? Like the media are the checks and balances of the government to make sure that they put their money where their mouth is, to do what they say they will. And a lot of businesses will say that they're abiding by ESG mandates, but it does take companies like yours to say, hey, let's look at the numbers and exactly what is it that you're doing to really make your buildings green. So couple of final questions. I know that you were teaching at universities in Taichung. Are you still doing that?
This was my last semester. So my son is graduating from middle school, and I told
Mhm.
him I'm also graduating. I
From university.
Yeah, I finished it's been a decade. I taught for 10 years
Yeah.
at Fengjia University, and I just gotta spend more time on just RCI.
Yeah.
So I think they're in good hands. I think FCU is moving in the right direction. I now want to really focus on continue to grow this company, continue to make an impact. The university, they're already doing a great job with teaching sustainability to the younger generation. But I really got to focus on trying to more make an impact in Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, you taught the kids, and now once they, exit universities, you got to have a company for them to work for, right? So you're doing both ends of the work. Education alone is not enough, right? There's got to be a marketplace for it, and that's sort of what you're working on right now. So for anyone interested, I guess we can visit the RCI website. How do we find it?
Oh, yes, please. So it's www.rci.green,
Okay.
Green.
I did not realize that is a new domain handle nowadays.
Yeah, we joked on that, RCI.green. I just want to, the last thing I want to say, teaching at the university, focusing on RCI, what we're trying to do is really respect the environment, uplift people. I think green buildings just has the potential to make a meaningful impact on the climate, how we live. And that's basically been what's been carrying me for the last 2 decades. I hope more people are aware and join this movement.
A dream of, how building might look 10 years from now. Will they be healthy and sustainable? Thank you for what you're doing, and hopefully we can have more conversations in the future to talk about this. For everyone else who's interested, make sure you go check out www.rci.green. Again, that is an awesome name. This has been Beyond the Reefs, and we'll see you next week.